Ricky, don't do it to them. They're not ready for the truth, Ricky. Don't say it. Ricky's saying the quiet part is out loud here. Yeah, dog. If you're doing that, you don't have a meaningful friendship in your life. Damn, Ricky. The Rickey Starks interview has got a lot of people talking, and for good reason, right? I think there's some good clips out of here. So let's see exactly what Ricky has to say about his time in AEW, why he's been gone for so long, and maybe we can get some answers. All right, let's see what we got.
Very straight away from working hard. I will be damned if I have anyone put that into question.
Here we go! Quite a while.
There's been a few crazy stories. Regardless, I'm always going to end up better than my situation.
We haven't seen you in AEW since March.
I've been home.
Still under contract with AEW?
Yeah.
Backstage footage leaked of you at the Royal Rumble last year. Now you're at WrestleMania.
Regardless of where I work, I'm going to support people that I love.
You're being punished?
I don't think that. I wanted to see my friends wrestle live. What the about it?
When you did sign with AEW, you were Cody's challenger for the TNT title.
If that's not a testament of who I am at the time, I don't know what else is.
The assumption from people is you're going to end up in WWE.
I could end up anywhere. I'm in my prime.
You came dressed for the occasion. I appreciate that.
Yes, of course.
I
mean, did you expect anything less,
That's
honestly?
true, right?
Yeah.
I haven't seen you in person since you were the television champion.
Yeah, I know. Wow.
In
right?
NWA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy. You know what's funny about that? I was only television champion for 2 days. After the taping, it seemed like 2 months. But
they taped like so many shows that day.
Yeah, exactly. So I just remember that being like a thing. And I couldn't remember at the time. I told you, I was like, well, I'm losing it tomorrow, man.
I remember meeting you backstage. That was in Atlanta at the, what's it, Georgia?
GPB.
Georgia Public Broadcasting.
Yeah, GBP.
Beautiful set there.
Oh, it's amazing.
And I remember everyone being like, you haven't heard about Rickey Starks? You haven't met Rickey Starks? And then I met you and I was like, oh, I see.
Yeah.
I see what the buzz is all about here.
Feels like everyone kind of does that, you know?
Ricky always dresses really cool, man. I have to say, like, of all the people, of all the things that he seems like he dresses well. Like, a lot of wrestlers do wear some kind of ridiculous things, but Ricky is always pretty cool.
Well, but this was also 2019 or early 2020.
Yeah.
And then we did an interview over Zoom.
After, what was that? A few months after that, no?
It was a few months. It was after you debuted in AEW.
Yeah, so definitely after June of 2020.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, chat, James, the GCW thing is wild. I'm going to watch him talk, and then I'm going to do, after this, I'm going to watch the SRS news report from this afternoon. It should be starting here in a little while. I'm sure there'll be a lot more details about that. I can't wait to see what's going on there.
So
What's
I
up,
haven't
Roman?
seen you in a while.
Yeah, no, it's been crazy. Wow. You know, it's cool, too, is to see the difference of both the careers, basically.
True.
I saw you on a red carpet recently with John Cena.
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell?
Yeah,
That's
but
awesome.
I've been
The
doing
Rock.
that.
I saw you on there with The Rock.
You think he's working this interview? I saw these clips. That's kind of what I want to talk about. I saw like the clips online, but I didn't see like the full segment. So I'm interested to see like how this segment goes. And yeah, like the clips I've seen, like Ricky's acting kind of strange. And I don't know if it was from like a perspective of maybe he's not telling the truth, maybe he's working, but something seems not really all there. But hopefully the context of this video will actually make it make more sense to me.
Rock.
Who? What? Yeah, no, I've been doing that for my whole career. Like, that was the main thing. I've been an entertainment reporter, TV host my whole career.
That's wild because I think, well, in the wrestling bubble, obviously we only see you as like, it's just to get you just interview wrestlers.
Yeah.
So that you have a full ass career before that is even better.
Yeah, people will see like some of these clips go viral even still years later. Like, there'll be a clip, now that I say it, of me and Anne Hathaway from an interview in 2011 that always makes the rounds.
Yes. I've seen you do like these media scrums. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, like you'll see me with like Leonardo DiCaprio and people are like, man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, that's what I've been doing my whole career. I've just always been a wrestling fan.
Gotcha.
So when those two worlds merged, like, you're interviewing actors and celebrities and comedians, why not a wrestler?
Right.
And then that kind of built on itself.
Exactly.
But I mean,
Chris Van Vliet is too hot to be a internet wrestling like talking head. Like I know where I'm at in life. Like solid, I'll say 6, 7 on a good day. Like CVV's too hot, man. You got to get out of the wrestling space, buddy. You're making us look bad.
Your career, I feel like at that point in time, the world was just starting to figure out who Rickey Starks was and what you were all about.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's been almost a little over 4 years. What a ride you've been on.
Dude, who are you telling? I feel like it's been such a whirlwind where I have to really sit back sometimes and remember, where I've come from, because I don't actually take time to do that. And that's a bad habit of mine. But it is wild to think, especially during the pandemic time, when the pandemic just hit and what happened with me in NWA, that, it only proves my point that the belief that I always have is things will work out every time.
Where are things at now? We haven't seen you in AEW since March. Oh, there's another sip.
Yeah, no. March was.
Richie in the chat saying, it seems like Ricky seems like a solid. Richie says in the chat, seems like Ricky's a solid dude. Feel like the mystery of not being on AEW TV is conflated. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I kind of understand a little bit of both of their perspectives, right? He is still signed. He should probably be used and be on television, utilize the people you're paying. But I also understand that why are you going to give TV time to a man who's allegedly not going to be here in like 6 months? So I do understand both those lines of logic, but let's see what they have to say.
Was my last match. I've been home. I've been healthy. Never was injured. I did have a stinger. I got a stinger in that match against Top Flight in March, and I got immediately checked out, and everything was fine. But I was just, concerned at the time, and so that happened, and then I was just home, and that's kind of, where it's been at. I've just been home, and it's a mind, because, I'm in my prime, and it sucks when you're on such a momentum, riding the wave and doing work and doing stuff, and then to just be at home for so long, you're kind of like, whoa. It throws it off,
You don't want to be at home.
No, I'm not. I am not meant to be at home. I'm not meant to be a homebody. In this current phase in my life, I'm not meant to be just chilling at home and doing not the thing that I've been busting my ass to do for the past 13 years.
So are you still under contract with AEW?
Yeah.
But you're just not being used? But you'd like to be used. You want to wrestle. What's going on?
Words, Ricky. Use words.
Beats me. I could have 1,000 theories about what's really going on. The fact of the matter is that if I don't have a definitive answer, I can't just make up an answer for people and just assume. You know what I'm saying? Would I love to know the exact reason? For sure. Do I have speculations about why? Absolutely. But that does nothing. To speak on things that I speculate does nothing.
All right, so if you haven't been asked to work by your job since May, I would reckon, personally, I would ask somebody. I'd be like, hey, what's going on? Why hasn't anyone given me a call? And I think Ricky has that ability. Maybe there's someone he could speak to in the office, have a meeting with Tony Khan, be direct and say, what's going on here? And maybe he did. Maybe he's not leading on with everything. Maybe he's being coy. That's a possibility. I don't know Rickey Starks, but it seems like he could be beating around the bush, or this could be a misdirection, right? Obviously, it's professional wrestling. We never know. But there should be some communication. Yeah, Richie, I agree. You need to communicate with your talent. Yeah, if you're going to, and this works the opposite way too. If Tony Khan is keeping him off television for a reason, he should voice that reason to him. If you're going to do something, stand 10 toes down and tell them, hey, you're not getting on the show because of what you said, or you denied the creative that I wrote, and I don't have anything for you. And maybe that's the case. Maybe those things have happened. There's a possibility where both of those conversations have happened or have not happened. Obviously, we're not sure, but this really shouldn't be an issue as it already as big as it is. By the way, I'm looking at like heights and weights of wrestlers. Like Ricky Starks is 6 foot, 6 foot even, built at 190 pounds. I'm looking at like, let's see, 6 foot, 180 pounds. That's like Zack Sabre Jr. size. Like X-Pac was bigger than that. Ricky is very small, given like if he wants to go to WWE, and I know WWE has changed a lot, but like even like guys like Tommaso Ciampa, those guys are bigger than 190 pounds. But you know, the land of the giant, hopefully that does go away. We do have a lot of people who are Vince brained, who are McMahon pilled and believe that wrestlers should be absolutely the biggest people on the planet. And I hope that is, hopefully, if Ricky does go there, that's a sign that things are going to change.
Thing for the situation, right? So I think it's just a matter of, it sucks. You know, it's been a very cold day here in Austin. It's been a very cold day. It may have been cold for the past 9 months. I'm not sure. But thankfully, I have a sweater, and I'm always ready to keep the warmth going, you know?
So that match, I think it was March 30th.
What the hell does that mean? I got a sweater. What? What's up, Will?
2024.
Like my mug.
Cafe Du Monde.
Cafe Du Monde.
Man, let's get some
advertisement points on that.
if only we were getting some. Man, I've been there.
I would hope so, man.
Of course. It's just off of Bourbon Street.
Yes, it is. It is. I don't know why I'm laughing at that, because it is.
We can get some beignets. They're delicious.
I like that fact that people go to there every time they go to French Quarter.
Yeah. So you wrestle that match, and then you don't work again a week later, and then.
By the way, if you are getting beignets, which are fried powdered sugar, like rectangles, and they put powdered sugar on top of them. If you're with your boys, the absolute move is when they take that beignet and you say, "Oh, like let me get a picture of it. It's big. Hold it next to your face." And they go to take a bite. You blow all the powdered sugar in their face. I did that back. My dad told me that one. That is a practical joke that has been passed down. I did that to my friend Eric when we went for the NCAA championship game back in college. And I've never seen anybody go from like red-faced, angry, I'm going to beat the hell out of you, to like laughing on the ground. Because he got real mad at it. You got to do it and step away, because someone's going to get mad at you. And that's for sure. That you deserve that. You deserve that. And if someone wants to throw powdered sugar on you, that's what you're going to get in return. That's fair. Anyways, be ready for a fight. Eric tried to fight me, and then he just started laughing when he realized like what had happened. So always a good one.
And a week after that, when do you start to realize, oh, I'm not getting called here?
I mean, geez, I don't think there's ever an exact moment where I'm like, oh wow, okay. I kind of just, figured it out. I have been working out, obviously, maintaining my shape, being in the ring still. I have been traveling and doing that stuff, right? Because that's what I can control. Of course, I have an indie date coming up, November 24th, and so. I'm doing that, obviously.
That's one thing I never understood. Like, Ricky has been out for quite some time, and some of that was injury, like he said, but he's always had the ability to book indie dates. I mean, if anyone knows that, like, look at somebody else who's not on the card, like Danhausen. Danhausen has been doing indie dates left, right, and center. And maybe he doesn't want to, right? That's up to him. And if Ricky wants to wrestle, though, and wants to go to apply his craft, I mean, GCW was an option. We'll talk about that later in the stream, but I don't see the real. Look, not always going to be on television. There's almost 200 people on the AEW roster, and there's not television time for everybody. Now, I know a lot of people like Ricky Starks. I like Ricky Starks too, but there is a reason that he's not on television, and hopefully we can get to the bottom of that. Tinfoil hat time. Ricky was actually hurt. Oh, really? You think? I mean, all right, James. So let's game it out, right? Ricky is actually injured for quite an extended period of time. In that time, he can create some buzz for himself by being, capitalizing on the anti-AEW sentiment. So by doing that, they are getting more people to talk about Ricky Starks and how good he is. saying like, oh, Ricky Starks would be perfect for WWE, ultimately leading to him re-signing. Let's just say if that was the case. And then people would say what? Nah, Ricky Starks is overrated. It's the same thing they did with MJF. When a lot of people who are WWE tribalist, loyalist, only watch WWE fans and like are to the grave for WWE, when MJF re-signed, MJF automatically just became another guy. He's not that special. He's not ready for WWE. We don't need him. I don't want to see him. It's the same thing. Now, if this was a conspiracy the entire time, I don't think it's done AEW enough favors to be a work, right? People have just generally talked bad about the company, and unless Ricky Stark is going to go out there and cut that promo that MJF cut, essentially, that says, I'm not leaving, I'm not going anywhere, well, I love it here, like, assuming he doesn't do that, then I don't know. I don't see the value, right? Also, I don't see the value even if he does go out there and cuts that weird promo. Him feuding with Adam Copeland. I mean, yeah, if it was all to build for this Adam Copeland match, great. I love that. That I've called this kayfabe 2.0, and the fact that what I refer to as kayfabe 2.0 for those who are new to the channel is anytime that these people are there, like these wrestlers are now working the journalism to then in turn work the fans. So I mean that's a possibility. Yeah.
But yeah, just it's such a mind for me because I am capable. I am of sound body and mind. And, you have to be careful about what you say because things get spun so quickly. And it's not right that certain people will believe this stuff, especially the people that you even work with. The people that's in your industry will believe the stuff that a small rumor just sprouts up online. It's kind of wild,
When you look at the discourse online, though, fans miss you.
Oh my God, it's incredible. I get so many messages from people who are like, hey, we don't know what's happening. We don't know what's going on, but we miss you. We hope that you're mentally okay. And obviously I would love to give an answer of what's, Richie
in the chat saying, do I think the narrative of Ricky being friends with CM Punk / Cody is a part of his lack of TV presence? I don't think his friendship has much to do with it, right? Because there's a lot of guys who are friends with CM Punk backstage. I mean, I think Brody King's still, cool with him. It depends on how that whole issue like shook out, right? If he was super vocal at the point when the original fight happened or brawl out took place, maybe that could be the case. I don't know Tony Khan's motivations. I think his motivations is just to put on good wrestling shows that he enjoys and maybe other people do. But I mean, that could be the point. I mean, he could be really upset with him. He could be mad at Ricky for doing that and siding with Punk for sure. That could definitely be the case. And if that is the case, then I think that shows a real lack of judgment with Tony Khan. I think it shows bad judgment on Tony Khan's part. Now, what I think it more or less is I don't think Ricky Stark has much of a idea of signing with WWE or signing with AEW again. I think he's going to WWE, which is fine. Good for him. If that's where he wants to go and that's where his life is taking him, by all means. I think it's a cost benefit analysis. What are you doing? You're giving a man television time who's going to end up on Netflix in 6 months. I don't really see the value in it. And I think that's what it's more about. But once again, this is just conjectures. Ricky's really never said what his plans are, which is smart, and I don't expect him to. I don't expect him to come out in this Chris Van Vliet interview and just be like, I'm going to WWE, I hate AEW. Like, this is not going to happen.
Definitive answer. But I still maintain the truth of this. I have no clue. So
then ask, dude.
I already know this is going to go up in flames too, but yeah, I love the fact that fans still care. All I know is this: regardless, I'm always going to end up better than my situation. I'm always going to end up better than the circumstances that I'm currently in. That's just how that's how it works for me. I can't lose.
Do you feel like you're being punished in some sort of way?
No, I I don't think that. I don't think that's ever crossed my mind of like you're being punished. Because that wouldn't serve me at all to think like that.
Yeah.
Right? I would be depressed and like angry. That wouldn't serve me. But
we'll get right back to the conversation in just a second. This episode is brought to you by Jordan Craig, and they've got...
We're ethical watching. That means we're going to let him have his commercials in there as well. So Ricky says he doesn't feel like he's being...
And if you happen to be watching this after Black Friday,
he doesn't feel like he's being punished, which, okay, that's good. But you also don't know why this is happening to you, Ricky. Why don't you ask? Set up a meeting, call somebody. Have your representation figure it out. I don't know. I assume he has some sort of what do you call him, agent, but I just don't think that. I mean, look, I would have that conversation. How old is Ricky? Ricky's 34. He should know. Like, just figure it out. You should know why your boss is angry at you. You should be able to have those lines of communication. And if your boss is someone who doesn't give you those lines of communication, let's say Tony Khan's the issue here, then that's bad on Tony Khan. He needs to take some management classes, take some leadership classes. Back to the show.
It was so weird that backstage footage leaked of you visiting Cody at the Royal Rumble last year, right?
Yes. Yes. You know what's funny about that? You know what's so funny about that whole situation? First off, yes, I did go see a friend of mine for his match, obviously, because it was an hour away. Secondly, they caught me walking to the bus. Right? So like, okay. Third off, somebody who worked at Alamo decided to take a video and take that screenshot and then post it.
Yeah.
So I remember the next day, Sunday.
Dude, that's so insane. If you work at one of these buildings and this happens and somebody's not supposed to be there, or, you know, you don't think they're supposed to be there, don't share it on the internet. You are not the cops. Don't be the internet cops.
I woke up and like this whole thing was blowing up.
Just for clout, like, dog?
What is this? I had people from my job being like, I had one guy, he was just like, were you at the Rumble last night? I said, yeah, and what the fuck about it? What about it? He goes, just saying that's a bad look, you know? I said, how is it a bad look? I can't control somebody taking a security footage while I'm walking to a bus. I don't
think he was talking about like the fact that the footage got leaked. He's obviously talking about the fact, whoever this person was obviously talking about the fact that he was there. Look, if somebody is in the pro wrestling space and they go to visit a friend at another pro wrestling company, what's the matter with that, guys? It's ridiculous. Like, I'm sorry, but some of the biggest marks in pro wrestling are the boys. And that's the truth. Like, you shouldn't be anywhere near another promotion. Dude, I'm going to visit somebody at work, dog. I go visit you and you work at Subway. I ain't trying to get a job at Subway. I'm just hanging out, seeing a friend. Now, look, yeah, could I talk to somebody there about having a new job at Subway? I sure could. But you know what? At a point, those conversations, if they're going to happen, are going to happen regardless. If the person, the talent, is looking for a new opportunity, they're going to be having these secret conversations regardless, whether or not it's in the building or not. So it truly doesn't really matter. All you're doing is just making it a headache on your workers. Now they got to think about, oh, I can't go and hang out with my friends. Like, that's the dumbest stuff imaginable. And wrestling really needs to get over that fact.
Control that. Like, how is that? Tell me how that is a bad look. We got people on our own program talking about other people at the other company, but yet me having my security.
Oh, James is saying, I'm telling you, the guy's Adam Copeland. You think Adam Copeland gave him a call? Damn, he might have. When did Adam Copeland make that? When did Adam Copeland have that promo where he was making fun of Ricky Starks for stealing The Rock's stuff, like stealing The Rock's gimmick? Maybe it was after. Maybe it was a stiff shot in the middle. Maybe it was a stiff shot in the ring for saying why the F doesn't matter.
Security footage exposed is a bad look. Give me a break.
So this was just visiting a friend.
It was simply visiting a friend. I was only on the bus. I stayed on the bus. I wasn't trying to cause any type of issues or anything like that. The whole purpose was I was walking to the bus, so I didn't be seen by anybody.
Yeah. What about at WrestleMania?
What about it?
WrestleMania, you weren't just on the bus.
No, I was in the box. I was eating good. You know what I'm saying? I was enjoying myself. Yeah.
So that one, you're out in the open there.
Sure. Everyone was. It was cold.
Yeah, well, I was there too.
It was warmer the second night, but
much warmer the second night. That first night,
yeah,
it was cold.
For real.
But if you already knew that this caused issues the first time when you were backstage and security footage leaked of you at the Rumble, now you're in a box at WrestleMania. Do you think that might cause an issue?
You know who else was in the box with me?
Dustin, right?
Yeah, who else?
I don't know, actually.
QT Marshall.
Okay.
Aaron Solo. Like, this is not me putting them on blast. This is just saying, like, yes, there's people in the box.
Yeah, and there's lots of footage of this.
Yes,
yeah.
they
Fans
had
took
footage of me celebrating.
Yeah.
All right. There was no issue about that. There was no issue at all. Only because before I had went, Tony already said, hey, it's okay. So, like, there was no issue. Now, if he actually didn't mean that, okay, I don't know.
Hold on.
That's different, right? But there was no.
So if he got the blessing from Tony Khan, who's the boss, who's this other wrestler calling and be like, that's not cool. Like, dude, don't be a dork. Like, the boss said it's cool. You're not the boss. Get over it. Like, if that was Adam Copeland, as chat was kind of alluding to, then Adam Copeland's a dork. If you're that wrestler, just let Rickey Starks go where he wants to, man. He got it cleared.
No issue about that, and I still to this day don't see a problem with it. And I'm gonna tell you what, I got into this because I am a fan. I love professional wrestling. Regardless of where I work, I'm going to go and support people that I love, and I'm gonna go support wrestling in general. Like, I was there to Jade's first Mania match and was extremely proud. And we'll talk about her later, but I saw her match, and then I was there to see Cody's match. Guess what? I was at Mania the year before that and saw Cody lose. There is no issue with somebody being at another show, like an artist. Like, Jay-Z ain't gonna go to another rapper's concert. He ain't gonna go to a J. Cole concert. Like, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's only blown up like that online because of people who, one, they're trying to get paid for their engagement. They got rent due, you know. I always make that joke. But it's people who just want to start something. And you could say it's like the tribalistic fans or whatever. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that all the way. To a certain extent, yeah. But, like, I remember seeing some quote tweets about,
dog, if you work at an arena and you're like going to the security footage and screenshotting the security footage to like show people, it's tribalistic. Like, if you're using it to be like, oh, look, he's coming to WWE, that's weirdly tribalistic.
How I was dick riding Cody because I was there, and I was just like, wow, this is amazing, because if you took this situation out of the scope of wrestling, yeah, people would think it's normal.
Yep.
But
he's right.
Supposedly, for some reason, it is so taboo to not be over here when you work here. Who cares? We all getting paid, aren't we?
I don't think people realize how close you and Cody are. I think that's where it really comes down to, like, and it's like, oh my gosh, he's there supporting him. I didn't even really know they were friends.
But you think I'm gonna tell a fan who paid for their seat to not photograph me up in the box seat? At the end of the day, I didn't give a, and I still don't. I didn't care about the Rumble thing. I didn't care.
Point in the chat, the E probably set them up. We'll never know. Yeah, man. Now we're in wrestling anon. Now we're like triple queuing it. We're getting way too way too conspiratorial. I think the guy who released the footage of Rickey Starks also was the guy who took the picture of Shane McMahon and Tony Khan. There's just like a wrestling paparazzi guy who breaks in the room and like takes pictures when it like at inopportune times. Like, that's exactly what it has to be.
Care about the Mania thing.
His name is
I don't
paparazzi.
care about. You're not about to sit up here. Nobody.
I claim the gimmick, by the way. I'm claiming the gimmick of paparazzi. He is an evil paparazzi character. You're welcome.
is going to sit up here and make me feel like a bad person for doing something out of the goodness of my heart. I wanted to enjoy live wrestling, and that's what I did. I wanted to see my friends wrestle live, and that's what I did. And what the fuck about it? You know?
It's Mustafa Ali, the hacker. Are you sure it's not Solomon Crow, the hacker? WWE's had a few hacker gimmicks.
You know what I'm saying? What about it?
What were you guys eating up there?
Yeah, dude,
Hey,
honestly,
James,
we
thanks
had
for the gifts, bro. Appreciate
flatbread.
it.
I'm a big charcuterie board type guy.
Oh, me too.
Yes, I like it all.
Do you want to say that again, please?
How far back does the friendship with Cody go? Like, you guys have been friends since he had his indie run before AEW, right?
So, yes.
Damn that. He said charcuterie.
We did a promo with Cody when he came to a Texas Indie. I can't remember what year it was. I want to say it was like 2017, maybe 2018. Me and Solo did a thing with him, and it was funny, a little backstage bit. But I actually had met Cody when I got beat up by Jinder Mahal in 2012, and we were in. I want to say we were in Corpus or something like that. That's when I met Cody. He was very nice to me backstage. And so, you know, I had been an extra thereafter several times when WWE come into town. And I seen him there. I even make a joke about how I say, hey, remember when you wore that mustache and the Robert Cavelli t-shirts? Do you remember that? He goes, oh, man. I had to shave it for the wedding, you know, something about the wedding. But, yeah, that's all. I've known of him. And then, obviously, once I put out that vignette, especially during the pandemic, it was kind of just started to go from there.
Yeah.
So it's always funny because people, this is the thing when you say something in wrestling, if you publicly say that you're friends with somebody, now it's just like, well, that's such and such boy, that's such and such girl.
Right.
And it kind of, it's like, you have these dumb insults, and it goes, that right there is a true marking of somebody who's never had a genuine friendship in their life. And that's so sad because you don't know it.
Bro, Ricky, don't do it to them. They're not ready for the truth, Ricky. Don't say it. Don't. Ricky's saying the quiet part is out loud here. Yeah, dog. If you're doing that, you don't have a meaningful friendship in your life. Like, damn, Ricky. Just saying, you internet dorks do not have friends, is what he's telling you.
Caring for another person which is the epitome of human life. You know, that sucks.
Why do you care about these comments on Twitter?
I'm so glad you brought that up. All right, everyone's gonna say
Ricky's about to get real messy. Let's go. The gear change into. Let me talk to you about internet trolls, bro.
Everyone's gonna say, ignore the trolls. Why even give time to the trolls? They only have 22 comments.
This whole conversation also works for Ricochet too. Maybe he feels the same way.
I don't care about that. This is a public space. I have the right to reply to you. Why does it look bad for me to reply to someone calling me a this and a that? I love to talk. It is such a great mental flex. So when I respond to somebody and call them a stupid or something like that, can we curse?
Sure, of course.
You've dropped the F-bomb 3 times and called somebody. He called him a D-Rider earlier. No, dude, James in chat, he's allowed to care. Yeah, of course he is. And a lot of people think like this stuff doesn't affect people, but you have to remember, like in this day and age, these guys have all been using social media for a long time, and they do their own a lot of them do their own social media. So when you at them and you say, Rickey Starks, the worst wrestler on the planet, Rickey Starks smells like cat food, bro's gonna see it. It pings his phone. He gets a notification. He goes, damn, WWE Garrett says I smell like cat food. And like, that's his day. And I'm sorry, like if I picked up my phone, I was like, I want to see what's going on in the world. And someone was just ragging on me all the time. Guess what? I'm going to take some shots every now and again because Turnabout's fair play. I think he's well within his rights.
Good. I just thought I'd ask right now after just going off.
12 swear words in. Is that
I'm sorry, but like the way we communicate as people nowadays, it's less face-to-face interaction. So like, you're obviously not going to yell that stuff to his face on the streets, right? So the only place that you are going to do that is on the internet. So if you're doing it on that place, guess what? He's probably going to respond to you.
Okay.
You know, can I say this? I like it. I don't find it to be. I don't
James, you're lying to me. That's fake news. WWE Gareth likes AEW now. Nah, dude, that was a weirdo.
lose anything about it.
So are you saying you're in character when you're doing that?
I'll have to
Maybe
look into
towing the
that.
line?
No, I'm not. That's not what I'm saying at all, because you'll never know. But what I am saying is that I grew up in an era of Halo 2 online. Okay, so
That's right. Ricky, you and I have battled in the same lobbies, buddy. There's very few things you can say anymore that'll surprise us.
talking trash online is kind of just, I'm built for it, you know?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And the best part about it is when you reply to someone who runs you down and they go, well, you're gotten to. I'm gotten to because I'm replying to you. Isn't the purpose of you saying this anonymously online is to get a response? Like,
I love that. I love that in the internet wrestling community. Someone will make an effort post and just put out paragraphs. And then you're like, nah, dude, you're a dork. And then they'll be like, man, you're pressed, aren't you? And you're like, dude, you sat down and wrote the Magna Carta. And I just told you that you smell bad. And that's your response. I'm sorry, but you can't. The lack of self-awareness within the professional the internet wrestling community is the worst. I'm sorry, but I have never seen another fan base so pedantic, so crybaby, so just like there's such a victim complex too in the professional wrestling space, and I don't understand it. Like, it's a television show. The fact that you're having like that big of feelings about a scripted show is kind of weird. Like, take a day off.
don't you want to bait? You're trying to debate with somebody, right? I'm giving you that. You're not going to win because I'm too quick-witted. So I like it. I like talking trash to people. I like it because I quote tweet and I talk trash about them, and now everyone can see how stupid this person is. That's why I like it.
How do you decide? Because, you know,
It's only when I'm in the mood.
okay.
It's only when I'm in the mood. Sometimes I'm not in the mood. Sometimes I laugh at it and keep it moving. Sometimes I will I remember I posted a picture and someone was like, shouldn't you be talking about the show tonight as opposed to posting pictures? And it's like, you're on my Twitter. You're on my Twitter. What are you talking about? Telling me what I should and shouldn't do. You got some nerve. I don't know. I find the internet, the IWC, I find them to be, I don't think they're as bad as a lot of people make them out to be, only because I
Nah, Ricky, you're wrong. They're that bad.
choose to ignore certain things about it.
Well, I think the most
There you go. So if you ignore the things about the IWC, it's fine. But if you don't, you'll realize it's full of idiots and miscreants.
hardcore fans of any fan base are like, they're the worst. Whether we're talking about wrestling or we're talking about a video game or a movie or Star Wars
What
or
if
whatever.
we said it differently?
Chris Van Vliet, you're too hot to be this right. You need to stop it. You can either be wrong or be uglier, Chris. Your move, baby.
Instead of them being the worst, what if they're the most passionate?
That is certainly a take. I don't know there's also passionate fans that point out the good things that are going on.
True. Yeah. No, I absolutely agree there. I just think,
But there is a certain percentage of every fan base that just want to focus on the negative of everything.
absolutely. And then you have a certain wrestler like me who loves to point out the stupidity of people on a public forum, you know? So at the
Quentin, do I got a Sky Blue account? Yes, I do. Suplex_media on Sky Blue. I got one the other day. I'm trying to bring it back. I used to be like a Twitter addict, like just like a degenerate on there, and then I cold turkey stopped it, and then now I have a Sky Blue account. And I just, I'm worried. I'm worried that like I'm ready to ride the blue sky, baby. Oh yeah. No, I got one though. I'll probably start posting on there more too.
I do find it genuinely funny where people are like, you shouldn't waste your time with these people. You're above that. Sometimes I like to get to their level. I don't always want to go high. I want to go low. I want to go lower than hell with some of these people.
Sound like a
Dude, I agree. Sometimes you can't win by taking the high road. And sometimes I really want to win, so you take the low road. And yes, do hurt people continue the cycle of hurting people? Yes, of course. But sometimes your soul requires it.
true heel when you say that.
Yeah, there you go. It's it's so good to go back and forth with somebody because I don't got nothing to lose. I'm good. I'm actually doing the thing that I love to do. I'm wrestling.
Okay, quick timeout from this episode.
2025, we all going low, bro.
Now
That's
that we know
right.
Goldberg is
Right,
wrestling
Chip.
his last match in 2025, who's it going to be against? The odds are up now at MyBookie. They say,
MyBookie?
who will Bill Goldberg wrestle in his
Oh, wait,
last
hold on, I'm interested.
WWE match? And I appreciate that they say Bill Goldberg like it's a quote from Bret Hart. Bill
sure.
Goldberg. The odds right now say that it will be Gunther. You've also got Bronson Reed, John Cena, and Randy Orton at the top there. But check this out. At the bottom, they did include
Bret Hart plus
Bret Hart.
5,000.
It's a long shot. But I appreciate that Bret Hart is even included in these odds. When you sign up at MyBookie and you use the code CVV, they'll give you a 100% welcome bonus on your first deposit, which you can put towards Survivor Series. The odds aren't up at this exact second, but they will be.
James, there's already a guy who's making wrestling great again. He's got a post. He wears a red hat. He's awful.
Anytime from
It's already,
anywhere.
the gimmick's already been
at
taken.
MyBookie.
Do you miss being in the ring?
Absolutely.
Because you could have probably taken indie bookings earlier if you
I
wanted.
know. Everyone says that. You could have taken any bookings whenever
Damn, I said that too, Ricky. Tell me why I'm stupid, please.
you want. But if I'm coming back to the indies, I'm doing it because of something that I want to do. Before it was
Yeah, getting in the ring, babe. You just said that.
like I'm hustling and I'll just take whatever. No. This time I'm in control about it. And I'm only going to do indies that I have an interest in doing, that I want to do, that will make me happy.
So what opened you up to taking the indie bookings that you have taken?
I did ayahuasca and came back a different person. No.
There actually might be some truth in that. I don't know.
No. That
Ricky on that Aaron Rodgers off season.
that wasn't. I would be scared to take ayahuasca, actually. No, the reason I decided
He's like, I did a darkness retreat and told me I should go play for the Jets.
is because Cody Lane, who I wrestled, is a guy from Texas that I used to train with, and I've only wrestled him maybe like twice, right? And so since we're at different points in our career, I just wanted to see where we're at and how fun that would be. And also I really wanted to test my might, so to speak. And what I mean by that is I wanted to really see what I could do, on my own type thing. And so I thought doing the Glory Pro would be good. Obviously, I did the GCW stuff too. So I just really wanted to see where I'm at in the grand scheme of things. And I chose those two, and that's what I stuck to.
Let's take it back to when you did sign with AEW.
Yes.
You were Cody's challenger for the TNT title.
I was the first unsigned challenger, by the way.
Anything could have happened from there too, right?
Dude, you don't really, Arn Anderson told me, he goes, he said, kid, that's never happened before. Did a tryout live on TV. I said, wow, yeah, I did do a tryout live on TV and then got signed out of it. That's cool. If that's not a testament of who I am as a talent, I don't know what else is.
So was this just strictly, it was going to be a one-off? We'll fly you in for this one match?
That's how I perceived it. In my head, there's no way I was going to get signed during the pandemic.
That's cool, Quinn.
Like, there was absolutely no way that I was going to get signed during the pandemic.
Yeah, and I think people forget, even though it was only 4 years ago, people forget, like, those were pretty uncertain times.
Yeah, man.
Especially in the world of wrestling.
Right. I had left NWA right when the pandemic hit.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well,
and then
here we
not
go.
long after that, WWE had huge releases.
Yep.
So for anybody to be getting signed to a contract during that time was pretty uncommon.
Yeah. And so I thought it was so interesting because I went into that whole thing with the mindset that I'm not getting signed off of this one. But guaranteed when the pandemic's over, they're going to be calling me. They're going to be like, hey, remember him? Because I would have just parlayed that into going to the indies and doing a bunch of stuff. And I remember that day I told Cody, this is how cocky I was. I had, walked in there and I knew most of the people there already. And I walked in there and I told Cody, this is definitely going to be match of the year candidate. And I'll never forget, he was like sitting down in his chair and he went, huh.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And so, I was just in there like, I was so hyped up, and trying to replicate that feeling is awesome to me. But I remember telling him that, and then we went out there, and I never forget, I was on the floor. I had gave him a clothesline, a crossbody over the top rope, and I was on the floor, and Blade, of all people, my man Blade, said, "Just keep breathing, man. Just keep breathing." And I remember laying there and be like, wow, that's very sweet of him. Because wow, this guy doesn't know me at all. He's very nice. Get to the back, everyone's like, good job, blah, blah, blah. Tony was like, that was good. Thank you, blah, blah, blah. That night I go and hang out and eat and whatnot. And there were some rumblings of someone telling me they may offer you something or whatnot and da-da-da. And I went home, and then the day that it aired, I think this is what I think happened. The day that it aired, I think Tony saw the reaction online and was like, oh, wow, we got something here. And I do think that he was impressed by me when he saw me. But when it aired, that's when I got a message like, would you like to sign with AEW? And I was like, yes, I would. Thank you. I definitely would. So.
And what did that day, what did that mean to you professionally at that point?
Well, I mean, there was a lot going on because I was never popular on the indies. I wasn't a big name like the Keith Lees, the Ricochets, or any of that, right? So I never had that type of name value to me, and I think it's because of.
Yeah, man, I miss him on TV too, and I agree with Ricky. I didn't know who Ricky Starks was before he popped up on my television. I was not tuned into the NWA like that. Maybe somebody was. Maybe some of y'all were. Maybe some of y'all weren't. But I was impressed with him. He had a great look. Great entrance. Dude, his entrance music kills too. He's good.
Of my style. I wasn't crazy off the walls, which is fine, but I maintained the fact that my style someone would appreciate one day. So to get to that point and to have worked as hard as I had, because mind you, I want to say less than 8 months prior to that, I was sleeping on someone's couch. I didn't have much to my name. And so I was in my apartment by myself, and I remember I got the text message and no one was around me because, we were at that point, especially in Texas, we were just in lockdown. And I played I Wonder by Kanye West because and I never wanted to hear that song until I got signed. And I remember playing that song and crying, and then I called my family on FaceTime and told them what it was. And I had remember reading these Twitter messages that were just saying they were so complimentary of me, and it's very rare that some people get all the compliments and all the hey, you're really good, you're really good, you're really good. And that's cool to hear it, but these were different. These were really, I met him at this show and he was this and that and da da da, and that really spoke to me a lot. On top of hearing this song, I wonder if you've never heard it. It's a really good song, and it talks about things that he kind of manifested for it to happen, and to go from sleeping on someone's couch to go from sleeping in a car and not having money. And before the AEW thing, I was only getting by because I was selling T-shirts on my Big Cartel website because I chose to leave NWA. I had to just have a belief that it will always work out. That's why I go online and I say
yeah, it's been a minute since I heard that song, Quentin. I can't remember it too good. I'll have to flip it on later.
Never fail. I don't feel like that. It's the end of it for me. I'm always be better than my circumstances, bar none, because it's in me.
So you're a big believer in manifesting things.
Absolutely. I've lived it 10 times over of how great that is. There was a time I had no money to pay this insurance, and I was just I don't know, I think it was $150. It was something. Dude, I looked in a shoebox randomly because I was moving stuff around, and I found $150.
What?
Yeah.
Who puts $150 in a shoebox?
I like to randomly.
People hiding their money. People who People who have money scarcities, bro.
I hide money. I don't know why. Like right now, I have
Scarcity
I have
mindset.
money. I don't have any money.
Yo, when you got like stress like that, dog, you put money in interesting places. You like squirrel it away. That's what it was. You were broke. You were hella broke, and that's what it was. Unless you work for the cartels, you're not hiding money like that.
Hidden in my house. I don't have any money hidden at all in my house.
I think you do.
Yeah, but see, when people find out where I live at, then I'm screwed, you know. But yes, it's things like that. I really believe that it just works for me. It just happens.
You've been part of some big moments. Like, you were in the ring when Sting debuted in AEW.
Yeah, it was his first match back.
Yes.
How crazy is that?
Yeah.
That is insane, dude.
And that was the thing, like, as I understand it, he was just going to return. There was no talk of doing a match. Then you guys were able to do the cinematic match.
Yeah.
Then that turned into more matches for him.
Yeah.
So you're there, he returns. Walk me through, like, oh, hey, by the way, you're going to wrestle Sting.
Dude, it was. I remember when it got announced that me and Brian versus Sting was happening, Sting and Darby was happening. And it was such a wild reaction to it. And then I had to really think, like, I didn't grow up as a Sting fan. I didn't grow up watching WCW. I was an Undertaker fan. So as I got older, though, I did study Sting. I studied Sting. I studied a lot of WCW from like the early 90s. I watch all types of wrestling, but like that was an era that was really cool because of they just had a certain energy to them back then.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget Sting coming in and meeting him. He was so nice and so sweet. And he's very collected. And you have to realize he's coming to a place that he knows nothing about as far as this company goes. And he's dealing with people younger than the
James and Chad saying, I don't think WWE is for him. I don't know. I mean, I think about his size, right? And I guess that's still just me thinking about how things were, and hopefully they'd be open to using someone his size, but I guess I'm still Vince-brained, right? I'm still concerned. I still think WWE only uses smaller guys for like lucha spots or like tag teams, or if they want to bring back the cruiserweights again for 6 months. Like, that's what I'm concerned about with Rickey Starks going over there. Obviously, Rickey Starks, probably knows a little bit better. He's probably had conversations with people, at least I would assume, on how they would use him. But having said that, I think AEW is the place for him. I mean, he is 34, so he's got some years left, but I just think he might be a little too small for them.
place that he was at previously.
Like, is he ever going to be, like, they didn't even make Sammy or KO world champ, right? Yeah. So, like, I don't see them making him.
So I think what it was he was very observant, and he was just,
it's a lot of big guys
getting
still.
used to what was going on. And I would hope that he probably met me and said, okay, something is about this kid that I don't really understand just yet, but I like it and I respect it. And he's got his own little thing. And when it came to the match itself, yes, there were some nerves about it, obviously. But I remember going and we would practice. We didn't practice per se, but he needed to get the body warmed up again. And so doing drills with Sting was insane. And then the match itself, we filmed it in 2 days. And so the second night was a lot colder. And I remember telling them, hey, because I knew what was going to happen. Sting needs a heater. He needs like what's it called? Like a dry sauna.
Yeah.
Just to keep, and everyone can use it too, but it was to keep the body limber because we were stopping and there was like breaks in between the films. You get how it is. It's just, filming's hard because
and you're resetting for the new location
and waiting.
Yes.
And it was
lighting
raining.
it
was cold. It was all.
Yeah, for those who have not been on a film set, there is a ton of hurry up and wait on that. You forgot Sting's first. Yes, Sting's first match was the cinematic match, and they wrestled in like a old dilapidated like building.
So I remember telling them that and just making sure that he was as comfortable as possible.
It's kind of insane that like we started there with Sting and we're like, how about a cinematic match? And then it turned out to, how about your retirement match versus the Young Bucks? And it's going to be a hardcore match. I'm like, okay. Like it went from Sting, like we're going to just shoot it on a movie set and we'll make it look nice and you won't have to do a lot, to where like Darby was like, hey Sting, I dare you to jump off that thing. What a wild world professional wrestling is, dude. That's like, yeah, Sting, they brought Sting in with the idea of like, oh, you'll just be a movie star and kind of just be a on-air talent and not really wrestle, to him going, I'm just going to do a full New Jack run and jump off of every single thing I can. I love it. Like he's modern day Terry Funk. Like Terry Funk's when Terry Funk left ECW, or when he left to go to when he joined ECW rather, and he's the old guy. He'd like moonsaulted. He did moonsaults back in the day, like at ECW, that no one was expecting from him. But he wanted to pop the fans. He wanted to give them something they haven't seen before. And I think that Sting is kind of cut from the same cloth. Sting was never the guy who was like, I'm gonna do a stage dive and jump off like awnings and stuff like that. But he sure as hell did that later in his career, and I'm glad he's okay. But some of those moments were a little scary, but I'm glad we got him.
Possible, because if anything, I knew from training with him what would help him out, and he's very respectful. And I'm not saying that this was a man who couldn't speak up for himself, but I think that he only, wanted to ask for things that was absolutely necessary in times. He didn't want to seem like he was being too needy.
Was there ever a worry of like, maybe just in the back of your mind, like, man, I'm giving this move to Sting? Like,
no, yes and no. There was a moment where Sting had me up for a gorilla press slam. I remember being up there, like, damn, he's still very strong. It's insane. And then the next thing, he punches me right in my mouth. And I was like, oh my God, bro. Badass. There was a moment where, dude, Sting gave me a sunset bomb. I flipped him up, and this man gave me... He gave me a sunset bomb, and I just being like, "Damn, that's kind of badass."
Hell yeah!
Sunset bomb. What is happening? You of all people, Ricky. But yes, it was really cool, and Sting will forever hold a place in my heart because he was he out of anybody you could go to and talk to, and he was understanding. And you talk to him, and he give you this look. And you would think that he wasn't going to say anything. It's just him thinking, and he speaks from a place where he's lived life several times over.
Have you had anything more painful than the skateboard full of thumbtacks?
Oh my God! You know what? I mean, well, I didn't feel my neck at the time, but probably the skateboard for sure. Absolutely. I just remember laying there, and my whole body was like.
Yeah, when your leg was shaking, I was like, is he just selling really well, or like is he actually in pain?
You never know. You never know. You'll never know now. I just remember when it happened, mind you, I remember telling people, like, can y'all just scream so my adrenaline can kick in? Because there was nobody, and it was cold. And I was like, just do it. And then I think we were pressed for time too, and we just had to get to it. And oh my God, I thought it was going to go down and through it. Like just, it slid off. And I remember like, man, like my whole back is about to be just wrecked. It was going to be so wrecked, and had to go to the back, and they're picking out the thumbtacks and stuff. And I was just like, surprisingly enough though, took a hot shower that night. No issues.
Do you have any scars from that?
No, not at all.
Really?
I took care of it with vitamin E oil. So there was no issues about it at all.
Man.
That was awesome.
You going toe to toe with MJF in that promo, I feel like people already knew you were good on the mic. And I feel like being able to go toe to toe with MJF made people realize just the level that you were on.
Right. Well, I mean, I knew. There's several instances where I think I've proven to everybody that I'm actually more of a troll than Max is. And I've had it happen on live TV. You know what I'm saying? But in that moment, that was in Austin, and I just had a match. And so the promo that I went off on him with was so good because, yeah, I stumbled, and I said, I'm like, I'm gonna stomp a ass in your something, and you know, I like stumbling through a promo. I don't care if it's clean. You hear somebody freestyling on a rap beat, and it's just like, well, they kind of stumble, but they just keep it moving. I like when that happens. That right there was my moment in my head of like, just kill him with what you got. You give me an inch, I'm gonna make sure I make that the most out of it. I'm gonna make sure that you get every juice out of that squeeze. And so obviously the chemistry.
When you think about the opportunities that Rickey Starks had been given in AEW, you know, one of the first matches the first match back of Sting, his programs with CM Punk, his programs with MJF, like they put a lot of time, effort, and energy into him. Not only just television time, but put him up against people who are generally considered at the top of what they do. I mean, Sting's a legend. CM Punk, getting time with CM Punk in AEW is rarefied air, given the fact that he wasn't there very long. And wrestling Cody as your first match in the company for the TBS title against when you weren't signed. AEW went far and away to make Rickey Starks a star, I have to say. I think he's gotten a lot of good opportunities, and unfortunately, where they're at right now, they just had an impasse, man. But they've done a lot of stuff with them.
True, me and Max
Adam
was
Copeland
palpable
too.
in that moment because you could feel it and you could see two people somewhat similar but total opposites.
Is there anything that's off limits in those promos?
I mean, there are people that put down their rules about things that they don't want you to say and all that. That instance, me and Max have known each other for a while, right? And you could even say that we are somewhat acquaintances, but I don't even like to say that because he's just a general piece of shit, as you know.
He's awful.
Yeah, he's the worst. So
I love that everybody keeps kayfabe on MJF. Like, I love the business for that.
There was nothing that was off limits on me. And the only reason is, if you come at me hard, just know I already have a bullet loaded for you, and you're dead before you even say it. That's how I operate. So, and I kind of like it too. Like, yes, there may be some stuff. Probably don't say nothing about my family or anything like that, and that's cool and all. But for me, I'm already exposed to the world. I'm in underwear.
You've had comparisons to a young Rock your whole career. So he hits you with Dime Store Dwayne.
Yeah, and I said he was a ripoff of Roddy Piper. You know what's wild about that? Max says all that stuff about me, yet made a return in a leather cutoff jean jacket. How is it that I am trying to rip off The Rock, and this guy is every day, he's cosplaying Triple H, he's cosplaying Ric Flair, he's cosplaying Roddy Piper. How is that? Isn't that, do you ever find that interesting?
Nah, he's the heel dog, don't get worked.
That was that was more than just him wearing that cutoff jean jacket. It was more than a nod. It was like,
wink, wink. This is what I love, you know?
One of the greatest returns of all time when Triple H came back to Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, the only thing he was missing was the damn U2 song to come out too. So
Beautiful day.
Yeah. That's all we were missing. It was just a video package of him training, I don't know, doing the cha-cha slide because of his hip, right? I think his hip, we just needed a montage of him cha-cha sliding.
Is the comparison to The Rock a double-edged sword? Because it's like, man, he's one of the greatest of all time, you know, arguably the best on the mic. But at the same time, now if people keep comparing you to him, you somehow have to fill those shoes.
I don't think I ever really gave it much thought. I think it's pretty well known who my favorite wrestler was. The Rock was cool. I like The Rock. He was cool. But this is how I do it. I can't help the way that I look. I'm a handsome, you know what I'm saying? And that's just how it is. And that's a respectable thing. My style, as you know, even before we started filming, is, you know, I had a Garth Brooks shirt on. Like, I like what I like and I wear what I like. This has nothing to do with ripping somebody off. And I would be honest if I was doing that. I am an improvement on a design straight from the city of New Orleans. That is who, if you had to say that I'm copying anyone, I'm copying the people of New Orleans. Absolutely. That's who I am.
Because Adam Copeland hit you with one, too. He hit you with, you ripped off The Rock.
He did. You know what he called me? Do you remember?
A vanilla midget.
He called me a vanilla midget Rock ripoff.
I'm so surprised like we didn't cancel Adam Copeland for that. Oh God, you can't say that, Adam. I know you grew up in the Attitude Era. You can say whatever you wanted on TV, but you can't say that no more. No.
And that one, that clip goes viral all the time. And it's so funny because at the end of it, I wanted to say more, but if you see me smile and say, well, that really sent me over the edge.
And the fans like that.
Yeah. I only did that because I knew that this was about to get off track. Here's the thing about that. You might as well call me a great heel. And I even hate saying and talking like this, but you might as well call me a great heel because I got somebody so flustered on live TV that they stumbled and stuttered their way into one of the worst insults that you could say that's so, passe. It's so 2000s. A vanilla midget. I could have hit him with the "I'm black, you idiot," but I didn't at the time.
Yeah, the crowd would have popped for that. But wait, he said vanilla. Vanilla doesn't mean white. He just means like boring. But no, Ricky, that might not have been the heat that you were looking for. G, that might have should have not. It might have shown your knowledge might not have been. You might not know what that term means.
You know what I'm saying? I could have did that. I didn't. Personally, out of all that, I don't think that Rickey Starks came out of that looking very bad.
No, I agree with him here. I think Adam Copeland looks bad here because it shows that he did get to him because saying that to somebody isn't the right type of heat. Saying that to the heel character here, as you're the babyface, Adam Copeland was, is the wrong heat because you're putting down your opponent. And not only that, like, that feels like a personal attack. Like, that doesn't feel like you're attacking his character. You're making fun of him as an individual. That makes your win when you defeat the dastardly heel mean nothing. That's the thing that I don't get. When you destroy the credibility of your opponent, your win means nothing. And that's what I don't think, and that's why I think that was not a good thing to say. Besides, obviously, being insensitive to people who, I guess I'll say differently abled. That could be wrong too, but if it is, let me know. Yeah, man, that's not a good thing to say. It's not a professional thing to say. It doesn't benefit anyone in that situation. Does it get someone to like pop, like, oh, and then like they put it on Twitter or TikTok? Yeah, dog, but like, doesn't do anybody any good.
You know what I'm saying? I think it wasn't me that looked
James
bad
says I'm
in that whole
actually
situation.
chocolate.
And so it is what it is. The funny thing is people say AEW, that's where all the unscripted promos are. And then someone was like, Ricky went off a script. Well, wait a minute. Hold on. How? What did I do? You know what I'm saying? I didn't do anything. So, yeah, what a great promo that was, right?
Sounds like both you guys went off script.
There was no There's no script. There was no script. Rickey Starks and a script, or Rickey Starks going off a script. How is that possible if there's no script to begin with, so to speak? I didn't say anything crazy. I just called someone bug eyes. What's wrong with that? That's like, how is that any different than someone called?
Ricky, that's also not like about his character, dude. That's his person. That's Edge's eyes. That's the way he looks, dude. He's probably a little upset about that. You know. All right, let's be honest. You personally attacked him. Maybe it's something he's sensitive about. Maybe Adam Copeland is sensitive about his eyes. He does have some, like, his eyes do open wide, dog. Maybe that, like, what happened was you accidentally hit the button that Edge didn't. He's like, oh no, I didn't even know I was sensitive about that. And then he just fired back at you.
Calling someone fat.
Yeah.
Is it different, guys? Am I missing the point here? If anything, bug eyes, if we had to do it on the tier group, it's very like F tier. It's not even S tier. You know what I'm saying? Like
F tier, S tier.
there's like tier groups that you can do. You got to be hip, man.
I'm not hip
Chronically Online, Rickey Starks talking about tier groups, tier list.
enough, I guess. I don't know that
The point is that I can't be eating up on the promo. Come on. Come on. Let's be real.
Chew it and do it.
Oh man, well I'm not gonna put those on there because you never know. But you know, make sure you're using if you need Blue Chew, make sure you're going and using Chris Van Vliet's promo code. I'm sure it's CVV or something here at the end. It'll be on the screen, so make sure you're using that. You know, thanks Chris for putting this content out. You know, we appreciate it. With your 2 YouTube plex, wow, big man, must be cool. Rickey, I haven't really got my mind made up about him yet here. He seems like he's telling these stories, but he feels like he also being a little guarded, right? Obviously, maybe he is. Maybe there's a little... Either he is not telling the full story, or the fact that he does not have the full story yet is still kind of odd. Like, figure out why you're not on TV. What did you do? What did you do wrong, Rickey?
CM Punk left because you're supposed to work a match with him at All Out.
All Out, yeah. I don't know. I definitely think it changed for sure because I don't know what that was gonna entail, so to speak, but yeah, it definitely did. It did change up some stuff.
And then it ended up becoming a match with Bryan Danielson.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great match.
Yes, dude. You know what's so great about that match? Before I went out, I was nervous, but I guess I didn't really realize what was about to happen because I was so frustrated.
In what way?
In such a beautiful, organic way. I was so frustrated with the day before, you know, Tony comes out and announces that Punk is gone. And then I actually opened that show with the promo. Watch the promo. Very good. And you can kind of tell what's happening. But I was so frustrated about things happening the way they have, right? And I'll never forget someone telling me, like, just be grateful that you even have a job. Like the Saturday, I remember someone being like, just be grateful you have a job. Like, and I'll never forget feeling like, how dare you? Don't tell me to be grateful for something that I've worked very hard for. That's saying, I know that you're hungry for a dinner. Here's a half-eaten loaf of bread. Actually, no, let me take that back. Here's just the crumbs. Fuck you. Don't tell me just be grateful for something. You don't live my life. You don't understand the things that I have gone through to even just get in this moment. That, it really set me off. So when it came to Sunday, I was looking forward to it, but I didn't realize what laid ahead of me and what I was actually going to be capable of doing. And, you know, Brian had that injury too, and we had to deal with that. And that was such a weird thing for me. And I'll never forget, like, Brian, I'm upside down in the corner. Or no, I'm not upside down yet. I'm sitting backwards. And that first whack from the leather strap echoes throughout the arena. And I remember like feeling this jolt and then hearing it go, oh. And I was like, okay, here we are. Nice. And then later on, Brian's tagging me in the face with that belt, with the strap, excuse me. And he was like, are you going to take it? Are you a man? And this is my theory. I think Brian thought I was a pussy. I think he thought I was a pussy because of how I look. Because, like, well, you know, this pretty boy ain't, you know what I'm saying? He's gonna welt under. I guess what I'm trying to say is he wanted to test me, and I love that. I love that he wanted to test me, and I definitely think I passed with flying colors.
Did you guys have a conversation afterwards?
Absolutely, we did.
And what did he say?
Yelled at me in the most positive way in Gorilla and said, you have been given obstacle after obstacle, and you have knocked it out of the park every single time. Every single time. Every single time you have delivered when they thought you would drown. That right there, you showed more. If anybody had an ounce of doubt about you, you have proven them that you are who you say you are. And that is a main eventer. That's what he said to me.
Was there ever talk at any point about you?
Damn, dog, I don't think he was testing you. I think he's a big fan of you. I think Bryan Danielson only cares about the type of match like he can have with you. Like he wants to get the best match out of you he possibly can, and that's mainly his plan of attack. He's like, here's the thing. Danielson, one of his last couple of matches, wrestled Satnam Singh. Like, you don't have to wrestle him, but Danielson gets to choose who he wrestles, and I'm sure he's like, I want the big guy. Give me the big guy. We're going to get a good match out of him.
Being AEW champion?
Not to my knowledge.
Yeah, I mean, you had some opportunities. That's why I ask.
Oh, well, I had the Max match. Yeah.
And then you were supposed to have the match with CM Punk.
That I don't know for certain. No one ever talked to me about that. And I did hear about that, but I don't know how true that was. So it's nice, fan fiction, I guess.
What was your experience working with Punk in the Owen Hart Cup?
It was awesome. Punk was really instrumental in how I was presented. Mind you, I had all these ideas. I had the idea of doing the filming you walking into the arena with your bags and stuff. That now they do it on WWE
All the time.
Yeah.
The show starts with it, yeah.
Yeah, and so I had gotten that idea from like the NBA walk-ins when they're showing off their outfits. So I wanted to do something like that, and I was always pushing for that, and it just never whatever. And so I remember telling Punk that, and he was like, "Love it, love the idea." Then I would show up in my outfits that I always wore. He goes, "Love it, that's incredible." So it was always trying to do the stuff. I already know what I want to look like. I already know who I am, and I already know where I want to go. I just need the other person to get on board with that. So Punk was very instrumental in all of that. I went out on a promo with a Louis bag, and right before I go, they were like, "What's in the Louis bag?" I said, "I actually don't know." "Why do you have it?" "I just bought it. I want people to see what I got and what they don't." He was
cool.
He's very instrumental in that. The
Works
whole
for the
pyro
character
thing. Why not just have pyro go off for 10 minutes? I said, "Oh, I never thought of that. Let's do it." So it was great working with him, especially in the Owen Hart too. I enjoyed all of those matches. I really did. I enjoyed all the matches leading up to that one too. And then I enjoyed the Steamboat match.
That was crazy.
Yeah. All of that was so great. And I never took it for granted. Never once did I act like, I just never took it for granted.
That's the first time Steamboat got physical in how long?
Right. And it was insane to feel.
Dude, if Ricky leaves AEW, which is fine, it's cool. He's had a hell of a weird run.
Feel that. And then the next week I walk out to people cheering me. I said, guys, Steamboat, it hurt me a lot more than it hurt you because I didn't want to do that to you. But you have to learn when you mess up, there's consequences. So
you had so many appearances with WWE early on in your career.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll talk about all those, but why didn't that end up turning into you working for WWE then? Oh, another sip here. Oh, boy.
I actually don't know.
I was just thirsty.
I don't know. I think at the time when I did a trial in 2017 and really put all my eggs in that basket and really was like, and I was told that they liked me because I did a promo that they really enjoyed. I just don't think they had a place for me yet. And I was competing against guys who had a name on the indies. So you got to think about it. They were going to take the guys with names because those fans were going to follow them. And in turn, those fans were going to buy a network subscription or something, right? So you're just adding to the bucket of money. Mm-hmm. You come in with something. I personally think that's just what it is. Timing wise, at the time, I thought it sucked. But looking back on it, I'm actually glad that I'm in this route that I've taken with AEW and having them basically take a chance on me and me prove my worth 10 times over.
When you got put through the tape.
Yeah, he wasn't ready back. You were following him back then. He wasn't ready. Well, I mean, yeah. He had a few years to mature and then went to AEW. So About time.
Ryback.
Yeah.
What was the setup when you arrived that day? You're just an extra.
Dude, that day was crazy. So that was at the Laredo Energy Center. My car starts to overheat maybe 10 minutes before I pull into the thing. Right as I pull into it, the cap on my what's the word I'm looking for? Help me out here.
Radiator?
Yes, pops off because there was no coolant. Yeah, there was no coolant in it. So I'm like, I'll worry about it later. I'll have to find it later because I was late. So I rush in there. And, I was just talking to Bailey about this. And I had on a Calvin Klein shirt that I bought from the outlet store, right? And I had on some black and white Adidas and some slacks. No jacket, no tie, because I don't know how to tie a tie, okay? Anyways, so they're like, we need this person for this thing. And this is when Ryback was being a bully.
Yeah.
Man, I was with it. I was totally with it until we do the first scene. All he was going to do was take a little tuna salad and throw it in my ear and then put me to the table. Man, this dude slapped the side of me the first shot. And I went, okay. Guess what happens? As we're filming, pyro goes off. Cut. We got to do it again. We got to clean the thing out of his ear, blah, blah, blah. We got to do all this stuff. Great acting, Ricky. And I thought it was great acting. Even Miz and Punk told me afterwards. Okay. And so, second thing, does it pop? He doesn't put me through it yet. Okay. Well, something's wrong with the lighting. Let's do it again. The third one.
Buddy, they were ribbing. They were ribbing you. No, I don't know that for a fact. Now I've had that happen. When I worked at WWE, we were filming a pre-tape where character Dylan Bostic was getting slapped by his girlfriend Taylor Hendricks, and we had multiple people like accidentally walk into the scene and like yell something as soon as they came backstage, as opposed to like opening the door quietly and making sure we're not filming a pre-tape. And he gets slapped within 3 seconds of the pre-tape starting. So it's action, talk, big slap, reactions, whatever the what's the word? They hit the lines, whatever they need to hit. We got our story, moving on. The problem was people kept walking in and saying things, or there would be something going wrong. One time they did not hit the record button, the camera operator, and Dylan got slapped like 3 or 4 times. One of the times he got slapped so hard it popped all the boys watching, and it was audible on camera, so he had to take the slap again.
Is it? And I'm just like, please, God, let it be it. Dude, he goes, psh, psh, you think that's blah, 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 and then puts me through the table, and then they call cut. Ryback's, is cool with me, and I've seen him thereafter, and he's always been very cordial, very nice, respectful. My shirt's ruined. I didn't bring an extra shirt. So I'm walking around backstage. This is what happened. After I leave that room, everybody's at Gorilla. So they all saw this live. Miz is sitting in a computer chair. He turns around. He said, that was really good acting. Very appreciated. Punk, who's in another computer chair, I'll never forget, in a hoodie and shorts. He says, you're going to let him do that to you? You're not going to go fight him? You're not going to stand up for yourself and go fight him for doing that to you? I said, yeah. He goes, wouldn't have been me. And then he just walks off.
Dude, CM Punk was an absolute minute. He hated Ryback so much, he's trying to get the extra talent to go beat him up. Dude, CM Punk's so messy. You should beat him up for the scripted segment we just had. Yeah, you should go and fight him. I'm sure Rickey Stark was a little bit smaller 6 years ago as well, and Ryback was still, Ryback back then.
And then I'm like, he had to be joking, right?
He had to have.
And he was, obviously.
Good.
But I walk off, and my shirt's ruined. I got tuna salad on my pants and stuff. And they're like, do you need a shirt? I said, yes. Mind you, he ripped it, too, so it was already ripped. Dude, I'm walking around in a WWE Money in the Bank staff T-shirt, like what they give the people who set up the ring, and it's like a 2XL.
What about when you were U.S. Marshal and you took out Roman Reigns?
Okay, so when I was U.S. Marshal, I drove to Dallas with my girlfriend at the time, okay? And she dropped me off. When you get into that building, there's no reception. Just so you know, okay? I left my wallet in her car. When I got there, I was trying to get my wallet back. I could not. As I'm trying to leave, just to go outside to grab it, they go, "Are you trying to leave early?" Like, whoa, what's happening here? Are you trying to? I said, no, I was just trying to go grab my wallet because, hopefully she was still outside, and I was trying to get the reception and all this stuff. And they go, well, you need to get to the ring right now. Go to the ring. They tell me what the setup is. You're a U.S. Marshal, blah, blah, blah. Act like you're not a wrestler, please. Like how you get in and all this stuff, okay? So they get me suited up.
I like that they gave him stage directions. Yeah, don't get in the ring and like wipe your feet off before you enter the ring. It's a dead giveaway. The feds don't do that.
Run out of letters to put on their U.S. Marshal, but they somehow figure it out, and I'm a U.S. Marshal. I don't know what a U.S. Marshal is. I don't know the jurisdiction of that. I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Like who's over who in that situation. But to be arrested by a U.S. Marshal means that you're indicted on something, some serious charges, RICO charges, fentanyl charges, something. So I thought arresting Roman Reigns was like, what did he do wrong?
Yeah.
Man.
What did he do?
I don't even remember. But he did beat the side off.
The U.S. Marshal Service is the federal air marshals as well. For the head of the Supreme Court Police? No, I want to see like U.S. Marshal Service. There we go. Let's see what they do. I'm not really sure. It's a federal law enforcement agency in the United States. They serve as the enforcement security arm of the U.S. federal judiciary. Agent. It's a Department of Justice. Operates at the discretion of the Attorney General. Okay, here we go. The U.S. Marshals Services are primarily responsible for locating and arresting federal suspects, the administration of fugitive operations, management of criminal assets, and operation of the United States Witness Protection Program, and the Justice for Prisoners and Alien Transportation System. Dude, that's insane. So maybe Roman Reigns is being forcibly witness protectioned. That's what it is.
All of us.
Yeah, I don't think he got then arrested later for assaulting a federal officer.
No,
I don't think that was the story.
No, because he was
handcuffed. They didn't follow up on that. Bad storytelling.
Oh, he was jacking us up.
You can see him in the corner with both hands, just
I
like.
got my hands up. But it starts. If you watch it, you can see how I get in the ring. I get in the ring like the women's wrestlers used to do in the old, like back in the day, where they go to the real bottom and they get in because it was like, hey, act like you never got in the ring before. I was like, well, if I was U.S. Marshal, I wouldn't know how to get in the ring, so I'm gonna get in the bottom. And I was doing all that, and I had on dress shoes, so then when I get hit by Roman, I slipped and fell and had to get up and grab him. It was a mess, man. But I will tell you, I look like a total badass in that outfit. And, as they say, long-term stories, I don't know.
There's a long-term story there.
Long-term storytelling and the fact that I went and got my U.S. Marshal degree. So now I can arrest anyone at any promotion.
Yeah.
Yes.
For sure.
Damn.
You also had a match with Kane.
ACAB, Billy's. Even Rickey Starks.
I definitely did. I forgot. So you want to hear about that too?
What a
I had a match at Frank Irwin Center, and God rest his soul, Frank Irwin Center got torn down, sadly. It was one of the most famous arenas here in Austin. Anywho, I get to work that day. It started off by me valet parking my car where all the talent valet park their car, and you're not supposed to as an extra talent. But I said, kid, I live here, so why not? You get in the car and do it for me. So I walk in, and it's a while. Like, I'm in catering for quite a bit.
Do you know you're working a match?
No.
Oh.
I never assume anything. And typically on SmackDown, you just, hang out. It's a little bit more lax than the Raw. Someone comes and grabs me, and I can't remember who, but they were like, hey, you have a match with Kane tonight on Main Event. I was like, nice. That's cool. That's really cool. Like, okay, I'll take it. Man, I get a writer comes up to me, and he hands me a script, and he's like, and you're cutting a promo. And I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
This is it. This is what happens. This is how my career takes off.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I cut a promo. It's come to find out, he goes, it's not live or anything. It's not recorded. It's just for the live. So I said, okay. Anyways, cutting this promo. I'm reading it, right? And I just process it in my own way. And so the writer comes back and he goes, okay, you got the promo down? I said, yeah. He goes, okay. I was like, yeah, I'm good. I got it. He goes, all right, you don't want to read it out loud or anything like that? I said, no, I think I got it. And I can't remember who I was standing next to, but I wonder if it was like Natalia or it was somebody. They were like, they want you to read it back to them. I said, oh, okay. So I read it and he goes, well, it's not exactly what I wrote down. And I was like, okay, I get what's going here. And I said, got it. And I just read it verbatim. And in it was like some weird verbiage of like, you Whataburger fat fans dipping your French fries in your mayo and I was like, oh my God, this is terrible. Like, I'm not saying the guy wrote some terrible stuff, but the insults were just bad coming from me. So I did that, go out there and we have this match and it is insane to me because I'm wrestling Kane. I'm getting hit in the face with this glove, and the finish was I jump off, and he gives me a punch, and then I take a choke slam. No one knows this. When I took the thing off the top rope, I smacked myself too hard, and I was like, oh my God! I wasn't knocked out or anything or concussed, but I was just like, whoa, that was crazy. Just to turn around and get a choke slam, and I swear to you, I got chokeslam and got up so high, it felt like the cartoon where you drop and it was like, and that's all I heard. Get to the back and Kane's very nice and he starts speaking Spanish to me and I'm like, I don't speak Spanish. And he goes, oh, I thought someone told me you were from the Valley area. I said, no, I'm from New Orleans actually. Only because Kane
coming up and starting to speak Spanish. I'd be like, I hit my head way too hard, dude. Kane does not speak Spanish. That's crazy. Yo tengo necesito. You're like, what? Is Kane speaking Spanish? What's going on? I need to talk to a doctor.
Grew up in Spain and he knew some Spanish.
The Kane grew up in Spain? The Kane in Spain mainly falls on the plains, dude. That's insane.
Come to find out. Yeah, he was speaking to me Spanish.
That's wild.
And I knew a little bit of Spanish, but I was like, I don't know who told you that, but that's not
that's
true.
a wild story that Kane just started speaking Spanish to you.
Yeah, it was sick. And his gloves stunk and everything. It was awesome.
What did it smell like?
It smelled like old sweat.
It smelled like he had worn it a lot.
A lot, yes. But it was awesome. It was a really cool experience. A lot of people don't realize I've been an extra since 2012.
And I think fans think they're so funny when they tag you in that Ryback video.
Yeah, it's called the Arena Worker, you know. That's what it's called. And it always pops up in the most random times in my life.
But
I still look young. Like
you look the same.
You wouldn't know.
You look the exact same.
You wouldn't know.
It looks like they filmed that last week.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, to stay out of the sun.
That's it.
Yeah.
You had so many opportunities there. Like you said, it's surprising that you didn't get signed in 2017.
Yeah, I think it's just God's timing. That's really it. I'm not a person that dwells on why it didn't happen and what the reason was, right? Because I already dealt with it at that time period. I already dealt with what that was like and why I wasn't getting signed and what was wrong with me. That's what that time period was. Like, what was wrong with me? Why am I not good enough? What am I missing? And I went and dyed my hair and all that. I went crazy. And thereafter, I went to London for 3 months, bro. Had a terrible time because I wasn't really booked on anything and I wasn't fitting in. And that's kind of like a constant theme where I just don't really fit in. Where I feel like I don't fit in.
Where did you find yourself again?
After that?
Yeah.
So I was back on the indies, coming back.
But like, where did you feel like you found who you were at your core again if you were lost?
It happens right before, it comes back right before I go to Japan in 2019, I think, or 2018. And then the match with Brian is when I really, the child self in me was like, wow, you are a main eventer. You've always been a main eventer. This is it.
Is there some doubt that's crept back in now?
I mean, yeah, for sure. When I was sitting at home and was trying to figure out like, well, no one sees me. I'm not on TV. No one sees me. I didn't think that no one cared. I just thought like, well, this is it. Like, I don't want to be frozen. I don't want to turn into a frozen turkey. But I don't let that dictate me. I'm still in the gym working hard, and I'm still
look great.
Thank you. I'm still just
We're
doing
about to get to
stuff.
him going to
I think
WWE.
the assumption from people online, because you're friends with Cody, is you're going to end up in WWE at some point.
I could end up anywhere, actually. Like that's so crazy that, it's not. Let me phrase that. It's not crazy. I understand it. I definitely get it. Like, you just go where your friends are. Yes, I love my friends. I would like to always see them every day in my life, whether they come to me or whatever the case may be, right? That's just how it is in life. You have people that you are cool with, and you're always gonna have people say like, well, you're gonna do that because of this person. It's like, well, damn, yeah, I can't act on my own accord.
I guess it's a matter now of like, where do you go, right? Is it more indie bookings? Is that what it is?
I don't know. Like, I feel like any answer I give is not gonna be sufficient enough for anybody.
Then maybe it's just watch and see.
Yeah, that's really it. And I think people have been watching me long enough that if
But you seem like a confident enough guy. Like, your answer should just be whatever your answer is. Who cares if it's not enough for the internet wrestling community? Because frankly, it's not their life. To assume he's going there is odd. Yeah, I mean, we don't really know where Ricky's going to go. I mean, a lot of people do feel that way that he's going to WWE. And I got to say, I feel that way too, because there has to be a reason to me. There should be a reason why he's not being used on AEW television. If they know he wants his full intentions are to go to WWE, I completely understand why they're keeping him off television. I do. It's not fun, but I also understand that you are running a business. Television time is the most finite thing that you all have in pro wrestling. You only get a certain amount of time. And I get that. You don't want to spend that time on people who aren't going to matter in 6 months to your company.
If you continue to watch me, then it will turn out good. Obviously, I have my hopes of what I want out of my life, and that's what really matters. But yeah, one thing about me, man, I've never strayed away from working hard.
Yeah,
and I will be damned if I have anyone put that into question. That's insane. I have worked tremendously hard, tirelessly hard since 2020 in AEW. And then even before AEW, I've worked hard as well. Even at NWA. There's no one at NWA that would tell you that I was a lazy worker. Ask Nick Aldis. Ask Billy Corgan. Ask Eddie Kingston. Ask LA Knight. You'll never find it. It's unheard of. So if anyone ever says that I'm difficult to deal with, that I'm lazy, or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or
I'm saying have him come back and then be killed by John Moxley's group. I mean, yeah, that could be the case. I think that would be interesting to have him come back for an episode and just be like, I'm back to put you in your place, Moxley, and then just like completely disappears him. They like roll him up in a rug, and like that's the last you see of Rickey Starks.
Or I was an alcoholic and got arrested in Canada.
What?
It's all lies. You didn't hear that?
Yeah, loser leaves town
Man, you
match
gotta
works
be more
great too.
alive.
I'm
James.
Canadian too.
Yeah.
Arrested in my country, huh?
Yeah, they said I beat up your cops and then got thrown in the back of a cop car. Honestly,
What city did this happen in?
Saskatchewan, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe Gary.
Gary, Indiana?
Or is it Allen? It's Allen, that's right.
What?
It's a small town. You wouldn't know about it.
In Saskatchewan?
No, it's actually somewhere in Winnipeg, outside of Winnipeg.
Manitoba.
Probably.
That's in Manitoba.
You know it.
No, I know all the provinces.
Well, I've done a lot of tours there, so I know them as well.
But just for the record, this didn't happen.
Didn't happen, but I will say I sound like a total badass. man.
That sounds like it.
I beat up a cop and got arrested and was able to wrestle the following year.
This is,
Dude, the Canadians kicked out the Usos because they like to drink and drive. Like, they would not have allowed Ricky Starks to come into their country if he was drunk and beat up an officer. And the Usos were drunk in America.
There's definitely some stories, crazy stories about
There's
out there.
Dude, there's been a few crazy stories, and they all come from a place of trying to tear me down.
Where's your just headspace at right now?
My headspace. I mean, I've been pretty good. I feel like I've been in a better headspace than I was, earlier this year. I think that I'm having things move for me and have that feeling of something pushing forward, whatever that may be. Obviously, things aren't what I want them to be at all. Like, I think that's fair to say, right? I can say that. Like, it's not what I want. But we are moving towards something.
What is what you want?
What I want? I want a lot. I'm in my prime. You know what I'm saying? What I want is to be successful on the checklist that I have for myself. I want to be able to continue to build a legacy for myself. I want to be able to have something to look back on and be proud of that. 13 years I've been doing this. I want more than what I've just had. And I don't feel like that I should ever have to be content with just, well, this is it. No, I'm not that person. I'll never be that person. It's great. Like someone said, well, you're still getting paid, sit at home. Who cares? Who cares?
Are we going to see you wrestle in AEW again, do you think?
I don't know. Hopefully. Maybe. We gotta choose one of those titles to put in the clickbait headline. Maybe Ricky says maybe he'll wrestle. Maybe says hopefully he wrestle. We gotta you choose one of them. But I don't know because if it was my decision already, don't you think that's the crazy part? Like, how am I to blame?
And I think that people don't realize that.
No, I think some people do.
I want to let them finish the thought.
And actually, they choose not to think otherwise. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah.
But like, at the end of the day, I have barely reached my potential.
I see people can think it's Ricky's fault by saying that, oh, he said no to creative. And maybe that's the case. I don't know. There was something about the Big Bill situation when he was originally there. And maybe that has to do with some of it, but you don't have anything else for him? No? Seems odd. But I don't know whose fault it is. I mean, honestly, I guess the buck does always stop with Tony Khan. It stops with the booker because he's the one who gets to say, hey, you're on the show, you're not on the show. And maybe there's heat there, maybe there's not, but Ricky's not really telling us anything.
I've barely peaked. This can't be it. You know what I'm saying? This interview is not where Ricky Starks says, well, see you guys on the Indies.
Yeah, I got you, John.
I don't think anyone.
Jonathan's saying, working with WWE thanks to Cody. Yeah, I could see him doing that. I could. And I think that would be good for him. But we'll have to see.
One thinks that.
Good.
I don't think anyone thinks that.
I wasn't trying to say that they do.
No, but I think that everybody realizes that you have far too much talent for this to just be it.
Right. And I think there's too much passion inside of me to just let it ever die out. When it's all said and done, I would really hope that this ends up being a lot better. And this was just an interesting period for me.
So I will ask you the question I ask everyone at the end of these conversations. And by the way, good to see you.
Absolutely.
Gratitude's such a big part of my life. What are 3 things in your life right now, Ricky, that you're grateful for?
I'm grateful for the people in my tribe. I'm extremely grateful for the people in my tribe because to reciprocate love, to reciprocate that type of care back and forth, I could get through anything. I could get through the darkest of days. So I'm very grateful for that. I'm very grateful for support of people I don't know, nameless, faceless people who support me from the shadows.
And the last thing I'm thankful for is Cody Rhodes.
Checking on me that don't know me.
I love you, Cody Rhodes.
That have a genuine care for me. a person that wrestles that they feel some type of energy from. And thirdly, I'm very grateful for me. I'm very grateful for me in the fact that I am happy and very proud of myself for showing up in times where I didn't think that I would be able to show up. I'm very happy and grateful for me in the fact that I was able to show up for the younger version of myself who wanted this for the long time. And despite every storm that I've had to weather, and despite every block of shit that I've been given, I have made the best out of it. I couldn't have done that without the other two. So to get to this point, I'm just happy and grateful for the fact that I have that ability, the God-given passion and drive that I have, because I would have been done a long time ago.
Yeah, and you're still doing it.
I would have been out. The neck injury would have done me in.
Yeah.
Or living in my car would have done me in. But I've come so far to just give up now. And I have so much further to go. And these things, these minute things that we have to kind of deal with and navigate around, I don't take it to heart. It is.
Jonathan, be nice. You're killing me, Jonathan. In the chat, Jonathan saying, all these things that Rickey Starks was saying were almost, I should have been ended when I did this. I did this. He said working with the NWA. That's wild.
Is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But at least my voice will always be loud and proud of the fact of the things that I've done and the people that I care for.
Yeah.
People like Cody, people like Jade, people like Allie and Eddie, and you know what I'm saying? I should be able to speak so proudly of people like that in my life.
Well, good to see you, man.
It's always a pleasure.
Appreciate this.
When are you coming to a show?
You tell me.